Hello everyone and welcome back to another yoga class. Today we're primarily focusing on upper body. We'll only need one prop and it's to help warm up the muscles in the shoulder by doing some shoulder flossing. So just make sure that you have a towel or a strap or belt nearby for the beginning of class. Other than that, you should be good to go. Remember, at any point in today's class, you can pause, take a break, or come back into child's pose or a restful pose that is good for you. If you do have any shoulder injuries or maybe need some modifications, please send me a message and we can modify this specific class to your needs. With that being said, let's get started. We'll start in a comfortable seated position, whatever's most comfortable for you. That can be legs crossed, up in front of you, leaning against a wall. Again, just choosing a position that's going to let you settle and relax as we come into today's class. We'll begin by warming up the sides of the body by placing your left hand down onto the mat. Your right arm will sweep up overhead and you'll begin to side bend over. Remember to keep your chest open here. It's easy to want to cave in, but we're really trying to focus on the side of the body. Going back into that deep belly breathing to separate the muscles, especially trying to get into the intercostal muscles, which are between the ribs. And as you lean over, make sure that your sits bones are both firmly on the ground. It's going to be really easy for you to want to pop up, but then again, that reduces the stretch. Inhale to come back to straighten and switch your arms. Your left arm will sweep up overhead, side bend over. Keep the chest nice and open. Inhale, come to straighten. One more time either side. Exhale, side bend over. Prepping the body for movement here. This round will be a little bit quicker. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, side bend over the opposite direction. Inhale to come all the way up. And then reach for whatever prop that you have for the shoulder flossing. I'm going to turn this way just so you can see some of the things that I want you to be aware of when you're doing shoulder flossing. So just make sure that you are holding onto your prop so that your arms are a little bit past shoulder width. To make sure that you're not going too close with your grip, when you're coming up and over, if your chest pops out or if your chin pushes up, that means that you probably have the strap too close or your grip too close, that your shoulders are restricted in the range of motion. So the tighter your shoulders are, the wider the grip that you're going to need to take. And you'll probably also notice that as we go through this, that you're going to be able to inch your hands in a little bit, which is great because we're just warming up the muscles here. So as you inhale, the strap will come up overhead, and exhale, you'll lower the strap down behind you. Inhale, back up overhead. Exhale, the strap comes down. Slow and controlled, following the pace of your own breath here. The spine stays nice and tall. And again, noticing if you're able to tighten your grip at all. You might need to play around with the grip if you're going to try to tighten it. And if you find a sticky spot, so here's a bit of a sticky spot for me, you can kind of play around, bouncing in and out, shifting side to side to help loosen up that spot. All right, when your strap comes down in front of you, let that be your last rep. And then you can place your prop off to the side because we will not be needing it for the rest of the class. We'll all meet in tabletop position and then come into a half kneeling position. Your right foot step out in front and then draw your arms up by your sides into a cactus position. As we lean forward to give a nice stretch to the back leg, your arms will come down, retracting, pulling the shoulder blades in and getting a nice stretch through the front of the chest. So almost coming into a W shape as you come in, and then as you exhale, you'll round over your front leg, protracting your shoulder blades and finding length in the back. So inhale to lunge forward, draw your shoulder blades in, and exhale to round, protract as you forward fold over your front leg. Inhale to retract, exhale to protract. One more time, inhale to retract, and exhale to protract. And now come back up to your half kneeling position and switch legs. We'll do that 3 more times on this side, arms up into cactus. Inhale to retract, lunging in. Exhale to protract, forward fold. Inhale, retract. Exhale, protract. Really rounding through that upper spine. Inhale, retract. Exhale, protract. Come all the way back up. And then we'll come back into our tabletop position. Your shoulders stacked over top of your wrists, knees over ankles. Press into your hands, really pushing your shoulder blades apart. And on an inhale, your right arm will extend out long as if you're shaking someone's hand. Your left leg will extend out long. Your foot is flexed with your toes pointing to the ground. And this is called bird dog. Make sure your hips are nice and level here. And your left arm, your shoulder is really active as you're actively pushing into the ground. Your spine is nice and long. Gaze is just a few inches out in front of you to prevent you from dropping your head or lifting your chin. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and return back to center. Placing the weight into your right arm. Left arm extends out long, right leg out long, foot is flexed, toes pointing to the ground, hips are level, and we hold. Keep the hips level, keep pushing into that right arm. Try to move the floor away. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower all the way down. Tuck your toes, send your hips up and back into downward facing dog. We'll come into a bit of a flow here, where you'll come into a plank, then you have the option to lower down onto your knees or stay on your fingertips. You'll lower down about halfway, hold, lower all the way down, and then come through child's pose. And we're going to go through that flow 5 times. So try to push yourself, maybe starting the first few push-ups from your toes and then coming to your knees. Again, pushing yourself as much as you can while maintaining good quality movements. So all meeting in downward facing dog. On an exhale, shift into a plank. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, lower halfway down. Hold, lower all the way down. Push through child's pose. Inhale up to plank. Lower down halfway. All the way down. Push through child's pose. That's 2. Inhale to downward facing dog. Push into your plank. Lower down halfway. Then all the way. Push back into your child's pose. We have 2 more rounds. Inhale to downward facing dog. Come through to your plank. Lower down halfway through push-up. Then all the way. Push back into child's pose. One last time. Inhale to up downward facing dog. I keep wanting to say upward facing dog. Exhale into your push-up. Lower down halfway. All the way. Push into child's pose. We'll all meet back in downward facing dog. And then walk your hands out just a little bit so that your baby fingers are maybe just a little bit over the mat. So taking a wider stance here. And we're going to do what's called a puppy push-up. Some might also know it as a dive bomber push-up. Basically, we're going to be lowering our head down close to the mat and then pushing back up while we're in a downward facing dog. So puppy pose itself is where your forearms are on the mat and then you're basically in a downward dog. So this is puppy. So we're basically trying to end in this pose, but we're starting from downward facing dog. So we'll lower, drawing head to mat, and push back up. Lower, push back up. We're doing that 10 times, so we got 8 more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can stay in your downward facing dog or come into child's pose. On an inhale, sweep your right foot up behind you, step it between your hands, and come into warrior 2. Take a shallow warrior 2 because, again, this is for upper body. Your feet will be heel to arch alignment with your back foot parallel to the back of the mat. Gaze is over your middle finger, and we're doing little circles with our fingertips. So drawing little fingertips drawing little circles with the arms. Nice and small. Really feeling the shoulders working. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't drop them, but reverse. Going in the opposite direction now. If your neck is getting sore, you can look straight ahead. Do this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower your arms down by your sides. Square your feet off to the side wall. Hands clasped behind your back. And begin to forward fold. As you forward fold, squeeze your shoulder blades together to get a nice stretch through the chest And then you have the option to begin lifting your hands away from your chest to give a nice stretch through the shoulders and the chest. Lower your hands back down to your back. Place your hands on your hips. Hinge up to stand. Our back toes, now we're going to turn to the back wall. Coming back into our warrior two. This time palms facing your screen, I guess, the side wall. And then fanning your hands. Again, small movements here as we fan back and forth. Gaze is still over the front arm, and we're just pulsing. Keep steady rhythmic breathing. This is almost a T position, which you have done with Owen, where you're lying on your belly in the I, T's, and Y's. Now we're just mixing up the movement into a warrior two. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come up into a Y, pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come up to your eye and 10, 9. I feel really silly. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your hands down, square your feet off. Come into a regular wide-legged forward fold. And the arms hang here. You rock side to side. On inhale, come up to flat back. Place your hands on your hips. Come to stand. And step up to the front of your mat. We'll all lower down onto our belly. Legs extend out long behind you. Arms extend out in front of you. Inhale to lift your chest away from the mat and your legs. Your arms will come up, and then we're going to do swimmers. So your opposite arm and opposite leg will be moving at the same time, as if you're kicking in a very awkward front stroke, essentially. Try and keep your chest up away from the mat. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower all the way down. Your ear can come down to the mat. Take a nice little breather here. And then your arms will come down beside you. Thumbs pointing down, fingers pointing up. And we're coming into locust. Similar movement. Now your arms down behind you. Peeling your chest away from that. Your legs will also lift away. Try to squeeze everything in towards the midline. So on an inhale, come up. This time we're nice and still. Drawing everything in towards the midline here. Toes are pointed, fingers are long and active. You're trying to reach the wall behind you. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower all the way down, opposite ear to the mat. And then we'll all push through child's pose. Knees can be out wide into a wide-legged child's pose. Extend your arms out long. Rest your forehead on the mat. Inhale, come into a tabletop position. And we're going to do what's called thread the needle. So this is a nice stretch for the for your upper back and for the muscles right around your scapula. So on an inhale, you'll sweep your left arm up overhead, and then exhale, dive underneath so that your shoulder and ear will come to the mat. So here's a side view. And just breathe here so your hips are still up. And then on an inhale, you'll push into your hand to come up. And then do the opposite side. So twist, reaching your fingers up towards the ceiling, and then diving underneath to thread the needle. Ear will come down to mat. Inhale back to your tabletop position. Come back into child's pose. This time, walk your hands out to the side to get a nice stretch through the side body. And coming up through the kind of armpit. Returning to that belly breathing. Come back through center, and then walk your hands out to the opposite side. Inhale back to center, coming up into tabletop position. And then lower your arms, so forearms are on the mat. And then drawing your fingertips together, your arms will lift up. So elbows stay onto the mat, but fingertips come up as you lower your chest down and through. So this really opens up the chest, and you'll feel it in your back as well. Hips stay high as you try to lower your chest down to the mat. If having your arms lifted is too much, you can just extend them out long. Again, just kind of playing around with the positioning and where you feel the best stretch. Inhale to come back into tabletop, and we'll all meet in a seated position. You can keep your eyes open or let them close. Place your hands wherever is comfortable for you, and we'll just go through a few rounds of belly breathing. With an inhale, feeling the breath drawing all the way into the belly, expanding through the ribs, and then up into the chest last. And then as you exhale, feeling everything drawing back into the midline. Inhale for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last time all together. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Return back to your own breathing, noticing how the body feels right now. If you'd like, you can enter into Shavasana or corpse pose. Thank you for joining me for today's class. I hope you have a great rest of your day.